This chair goes really, really horizontal. I'm thinking I'm only going to be able to sleep for a couple of hours because, like, on stream it's a bit awkward, isn't it? So, I want to try and keep the lower half out of view of the camera just in case I get a bit carried away in my sleep. Oh, hi, by the way, we're live.
Hello. If you're sleeping in a chair, dude, I'm gonna have to stay awake. Like, screw it.
Just to watch me asleep in a chair.
Yeah. Like, people have chair streams, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. You're actually going to be laid back in the chair.
A chair stream that's actually occupied.
Yeah.
Cool, we're live.
By a sleeping person.
Hi, guys. Hi, people watching. Hi, Geordie. Hi, Sully. Hello, Go.
Hi.
Yo.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
The chair stream.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, I won't fall asleep during the podcast, although... I mean, it is possible, but I won't say why. I'm sure we'll work that out as we go along. Go. You're leading all of this, so you fire away, mate. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to have my first night of drinking for the last two and a bit weeks. So cheers, enjoy. Go, take it away.
Cheers. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks since we've been live, but we are back, and we've got not a double header, because it's not the same night, but we've got a show tonight, obviously, and then we've got another one coming up on Monday. And tonight's a little bit SOD focused, mainly SOD. We might talk a little bit about other stuff we've been doing here at the start of the show, but yeah, a little SOD podcast. Molten Core's out for 2 weeks now, so
is it?
It's fresh.
Fuck, I haven't done it yet.
Molten Core. It's a brand new raid. It's incredible. You should see the details of all the boss fights in there. It's amazing, high tech.
It's difficult.
So we'll get some SOD today, and then Monday we'll be back. We don't usually do Monday streams, but this next one's going to be on a Monday, so keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, tonight we've got the professor of Ice Crown Community College here with us today. We've got Jordy joining us for the first time.
Hello. Is it my first time?
It's not his first time. No, you've been here. On the Speeds and the Discovery one. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's fair. Hi guys. I'm Jordy. Nice to be here.
Just like the intro. Yeah. I'm Jordy.
Hey guys, this is Jordy, and I'm here to tell you how to play the game.
I asked my fiance, or I told her, I was like, yeah, we got Jordy on the show tonight, and she didn't know who you were, and I was like, how do you not know Jordy?
You're
like,
so
I don't
good.
watch guys.
Go.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Can I embarrass Jordy for a second? I've got a couple guys in my Discord who just freaking love you.
I hate this now. Can we go back to what Go was saying?
Yeah,
more comfortable with Go's energy than this other energy.
Yeah, they actually didn't believe me. Yeah, so.
And what about Mr. Sully then? I mean, it's been a while, mate. I don't feel like I've seen your beautiful face for it's got to be at least a couple of months, isn't it? 2-3 months. When we was really drunk. Yeah. It was the Cata pre-patch, wasn't it? When we had a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, I've been doing things, IRL and a little bit of gaming. I'm glad to be here.
And you two previously not hooked up IRL, but I mean, you met up IRL.
I wish, dude. I wish. He's in a relationship. What are you gonna do?
Telling me?
I was a bit jealous. How'd that go?
we went to meet up in Seattle, and 3 weeks ago now, I think, and it was awesome.
I love meeting people like from the gaming stuff. Like I saw Jordy for the first time at BlizzCon. He's
just as attractive IRL as he is on camera.
This sucks. I don't like this. I'm gonna leave. No, it was a great weekend in Seattle. We went to a baseball game. We swam in a lake. I don't know if you guys know Only Black Smoke, but he hosted us, and it was awesome.
We missed the home run ball.
Yeah, we decided, hey, let's go get like hot dogs, and we went to the other side of the stadium. And as we were watching the game from where we got the hot dogs, a home run landed in our seats where we were no longer. And so then I, punched somebody, and yeah.
And I'll tell you this: I found a new fun fact about Jordy. He loves hot dogs.
Oh.
Well, did you know in Seattle they have this thing called a Seattle dog, which is just like a hot dog with cream cheese on it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
I'm out.
I had
Nope.
I had to try it. So what are you gonna do?
Well, was it
did
good?
look pretty good.
I mean, it's a hot dog. It can't be bad. It just, was a little. It was a little odd.
If it was cream cheese stuffed, I think I would like it. But if it was cream cheese just on the top or like just on the bun, I don't know how I would feel about that. It'd have to be inside of it.
I feel like a stuffed cream cheese would get a little weird for me. I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, when you
something
bite it,
little-
it squirts
Maybe
out.
too much?
Yeah.
So, for if anyone don't know what's going on that's just joined, this is Godin Ramsey's Kitchen Nightmares. This is what the new podcast is called. So,
Nice. I love that.
anyway, all right. So we've got quite a few bits to get through, and we've got a very condensed episode. I do want to just not tease one thing, but just obviously the majority of people that watch the podcast on YouTube, certainly nowadays, is normally here for Cata related content. We don't do Season of Discovery very often. But Monday, no matter whether you watch Season of Discovery content or Cata content, we've got an absolute banger, and Will is going to be on it. And we're going to be talking about all things sort of classic. No, I'm not going to say classic plus, because it's not really classic plus, is it, Go? It's more of a framework for what Blizzard could do, which is realistic. I know that's all I'm going to say, but I just wanted to,
in addition to what's already going on, it's something else. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something strangely. When I was streaming yesterday, I had a unknown alpha pop up on my BattleNet, and it's there.
Really?
It's still there now. It's still actually in downloads, and it's not when I go to my game clients. Well, it's just unknown alpha. I mean, I've got obviously Cata beta, War Within beta, all the PTRs, like all of the stuff that you would expect is there. But then I've also got one stuck like that's just gone onto the downloads yesterday that just says unknown alpha. So I don't know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's anything, but I just thought I'd mention it in case anyone else sees that. Like, I'm looking at it, it's still there. So
it's a bunch of pandas.
I hope so. That'd be great. That'd sort me out for a few months.
I'm so excited for Mob. I can't even tell you. Ugh.
Me too. It's where I spend a lot of my time.
How's the P server stuff going on Mob? I'm jelly. I want to get on there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really raiding. We're setting up a 10-man heroic team, but we're not taking it that seriously. Obviously, Mop's so far out. We've all just been leveling characters and doing heroics. We're going to be doing challenge modes. I'm mainly just pugging because most people are obviously. But we're doing so many things at the moment. It's hard to try and find time to raid on everything. We're obviously raiding Firelands. In prep for the next Cata phase, we're raiding on Cata on 3 or 4 characters a week. We're raiding. Well, we're not raiding on retail, but we're doing I spend more time on retail than anything else at the moment. And then every other spare minute is Mop. In fact, this is a great time to talk about what we've been up to because I've just done mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've been doing
Nice transition.
Firelands. I saw your Firelands a little bit yesterday, and you were saying you were going to be doing full Firelands Friday nights. Is that going to be consistent or?
Yeah, every Friday we're going to do our full 13 of 13 heroic straight into Firelands. But I'll be streaming it all. Obviously, ours is like on Friday. What we just done was more just to show the people that have never seen Firelands before the basics. Show them what the bosses are, what the main mechanics are, blah blah blah. And then obviously next Friday will be when we actually start just going right. We're not moving on from this boss until it dies on heroic, and we've got our assignments set up ready for launch and all of that shit, But I mean, obviously, the majority of our team was obviously doing heroic Firelands 2 years ago on season 1 of White Mane. So half of us are very confident and competent. It's just getting the other half on the same level. But it's been fun. It's fun having so many different things going on in different expansions, different game types. As I say, I can't stress enough. I was doing Mythic Plus on retail all afternoon and absolutely loving it. It's just so refreshing going on retail and actually enjoying it. Because it's not been like that for me for a long time.
Are you having fun?
Am I having fun?
Yeah.
He
like,
sounded
is
kind
that
of
what you're
pissed
saying?
earlier. I was in the shower after my hike this morning, and he was like raging about his monk not doing any damage. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
about
yeah.
to re-roll. He's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was pissing me off. But actually, then once I actually started getting some gear and I got some bronze bullions and got trinkets, got a weapon, yeah, I mean, then it was fine. But obviously, I was doing like Mythic Plus with, I don't know, less than 480 eye level. I was like 470 something eye level. No, that monk thing 2 days ago in the pre-patch event. So yeah, it was very frustrating watching people do like 500k DPS, and I looked like I should have been a healer. I don't like that. I like to be at the top of meters, mate. But no, it's good fun.
So Jordy, what have you been up to? I've tried to tune in a little bit. See, you're doing a little bit of warrior on sod. At
Oh,
least.
it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I've been doing sod. I've been doing Cata. I've been doing a little bit of retail, which has been new for me. The War Within looks pretty cool. I like where they're going with the story, so I'm interested in seeing that. And yeah, the sod stuff's kind of slowing down now. I don't really like it was like full blast for 2 weeks to get ready for Molten Core, and then once I was raid ready, I had my fire resist. I could kind of sit on the back burner there.
You doing
we
heat
got
level 3?
Yeah, we went right into Heat 3. I think we got like World 8th or something, Heat 3, which
Wait, what guild?
welcome. Really nice guys from Benediction. And it's been fun. I was a little bit disappointed at the ease of Heat 3. And I know that that's easy to say as someone who plays the game for a living, but I don't know. It just when you come in from Cata, where like tier 11's hard, and then you're like, oh, just wear fire resist, and then it's Psalm Molten Core. I mean, we'll get into my issues with Molten Core, but yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. So Sod's kind of slowing down. What?
If I may ask a question about Heat 3, just as someone who hasn't ran it yet, and there might be some viewers who haven't ran it yet, is it? What wasn't hard about it? Did they just not make new mechanics? Was it just the hit points weren't high enough? Like, what would have made Heat 3 challenging for a player like yourself?
The fire resist mechanic itself was bad. It was, I mean, up until recently, it was a binary. Either you have enough and you survive, or you don't and you're dead, which I think is not a great mechanic. And then I felt like they didn't really change the bosses at all from the Psalm. They're all like small things, but they're primarily the exact same, which I find a little insulting, I guess. It feels like they could have put a little bit more effort into making Molten Core more interesting. I have like 36 ideas of how to do that, and part of me is like, what were you guys doing for the last 2 months when you could have been designing this game? I don't know.
Not working on Cata.
I fucking
well, I
weren't.
mean, I'm excited about that. Like Firelands will be dope, hopefully. So yeah, but yeah, I've been playing, and then I just started up retail. I have like a level 70 disc priest that I'm just starting to gear. I'm doing those like memory loops, stuff like that. So it's been interesting. I mean, retail is just gorgeous. I'm constantly amazed at like it's a beautiful game. And I'm excited to get into it. I haven't played retail since Wrath of the Lich King. So we'll see how it goes.
How are you finding disc, Geordie? Because like one of my mains is a disc priest on there.
Is it? I should hit you up for tips then.
Oh no, don't do that. No, when I say mains, I mean I've only been playing it probably as long as you have. I've been on retail for like a couple of months at tops.
Gotcha. It's been cool. I think that disc and cat or in retail is a lot more like disc and mop, right? Because in disc and mop, you're applying atonement and then you're dealing damage to heal those people.
No, that's not mop. I think that's WOD.
Oh, is that not mop?
Yeah, mop's the same as Cata, pretty much.
Oh, really? That's a bummer. I'm disappointed in that. But either way, I had I was aware of that, so learning that wasn't so hard. But there's a lot of little things that Disc does. Disc is much more like Holy Shadow than Disc is in Cata. So it's fun to like hit those dark penances or whatever they're called and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of little cool spells. I like the talent tree. It was fun to go through my talents. The hero talents look cool. Everything's just gorgeous. I definitely feel like a boomer more so than in retail or in classic. But I mean, I'm having fun, and we'll see. Launch will be really fun because everyone's kind of the playing field gets leveled, right? So it'll be fun to hit up some launch stuff.
Yeah.
How hard are you going on Cata still? Like, are you going to do like a Firelands like race to world first sort of thing, or like?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm in Newman, which is a top 3 guild. We're speedrunning tomorrow. That'll be really fun. And then on NA right now, I'm in Who, and they're a parsing guild, and I'm blasting there. And so yeah, I'm going pretty hard on Cata. Cata's still like my main squeeze, but it's a very different game than it was in Wrath, and I didn't play beta because I took like a 6-month break, so it took me a long time to kind of catch up to where everyone's at, and I'm starting to feel like I'm getting there now, so which is good. But the guys so it's tough to keep up with them sometimes, but I'm getting there, I think so.
Hell yeah! All right, Sully, what have you been up to, man? Are you all sod? What's going on?
Yeah, mostly sod. I'm your resident, person who can't play very often. So, sod's been the main one. I have been playing a little bit of hardcore. A buddy of mine got me back into that. And I've been playing some Cata too, over the last couple months, which I had a really good time doing it. But I do have to choose, where I can spend my time. And sod's definitely, phase 4 got me back into it. Got into a great guild of people who are, they know what they're doing, but they don't force you to have every, enchant, every, pre-bis piece of gear to be a part of their raids and stuff. So that's been nice. And, we've cleared, MC, and we haven't done the heat levels. I think they did heat level 2. I couldn't go. Didn't have the gear for it. Didn't have the fire resist gear for it, but, it's been fun. I mean, it's been genuinely fun. I've never done classic content at level 60. So for me, this is my first time like ever doing it. So it's all been new, not just the sod changes, but even just, getting through some of the things that you have to get through at 60 to get into a raid and some of the gear things you have to get. So I've had a great time with it.
Have you been able to do the world bosses? Because you wouldn't have been able to do that back in 2019 if you were like more casual of a player. But now that it's instanced, you have that option.
Yeah, we did that first. I mean, that was the first thing we cleared. And we cleared, I think we did it with 16 players the first week, the first lockout. And, I actually got like 3 or 4 pieces of gear, which helped out because I only raided phase 3 once, and it was on launch day of phase 4. So I had like, greens and blues from phase 3. So we did it, which I kind of think it's fun that way, but the world bosses are pretty easy. But I think is maybe the theme of phase 4. Most of it does seem pretty easy. I mean, MC clear wasn't that hard. Most of us didn't have what you'd consider pre-bis. We didn't do all those different, dungeon grinds to get the best gear to go into MC. So I'm not sure that's good or bad. I mean, for me as a casual player, I guess it was good, but I can see the other side of the coin where, some players want a bigger challenge. So that's why I asked that question of Jordy, right? Is how was that Heat 3? And it kind of sounds like maybe they could have done more to cater to those players who really do have the time and effort to max out that heat level. Like what can we do to make this, well-rounded for everybody?
Oh, and Go. I'll ask you. What you been up to, Go?
Thanks. Oh man, you're so special for asking me. Thank you. I have been doing Cata on one tune and Sod on one tune. I've just been like super chill since Wrath ended. Still 13 of 13 on 10 player heroic and Cata. I haven't done the only raid I've done in season 4 of Sod is one Kazakh. That's it. But I've been playing a lot. Like I've probably got multiple, like at least a week played, like in game time at level 60. I've been playing a lot, doing a lot of quests, doing a lot of dungeons, still getting up a lot of gear. I hit rank 10 like PvP the
Nice.
first reset that I could. Like I went hard on AV. Like I just love PvP in SOD more than the PvE stuff. But there's not really much to do outside of like that AV grind. Like you could go world PvP, but I mean, it's fun for about an hour, and then it gets kind of dull. Like once I run out of health pots, but
How does balance druid feel?
balance is feeling pretty solid. I see a lot of people complaining about it, but I don't really feel like it's down bad or anything like that. Like it's like 1v1s are pretty fine. Even 1v2 sometimes, like if I have to have all my cooldowns, but like Boomy's feeling pretty solid. We have a couple things missing from our toolkit still that I would like to see, like a snare. Like even if it was Typhoons, like we would have a knockback and like that daze effect from Typhoon. If we had like mushrooms or something, that'd be sick too. But like our only real route in PvP is like Nature's Grasp, and it has one proc or whatever, like one buff.
Charge.
And then and then we've got nothing after that. Like we can war stomp if you're a Tauren, but if you're a Night Elf, like what are you gonna do? So like Phase 4 has been really fun for me, but I haven't really raided, which is kind of weird because that's what all I've been doing in Classic is like raid, like pump. So I want to get back into it, but yeah, the heat level thing in Molten Core kind of like turned me off. At least they moved MC down to 20 player instead of 40. Like I think that was a big plus.
Agreed.
That they like turned around and they like they pivoted from. Let me use their words. Yeah, they did the pivot from 40 to 20, and I was like, yes. So hopefully BWL is a little bit like more enticing for me to get back into the rating and stuff. But for now, I'm just kind of chilling. If I get into a Molten Core, like Heat Level 1 seems like a vibe, I'll probably get in there and do that.
Cool. Okay. Well, you've put together some really interesting talking points, and we've got, a good hour and a quarter, something like that, because many of us have got other things to do. Sully's got to go and, I don't know, look at himself in the mirror. That's what I'd do if I was Sully, to be fair. So,
I've got to cut some wood.
Go on, kick us off then, go.
Yeah. Let me skip down to, because Sully was talking about like the difficulties. So I had a question a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking about it. Like, what if the heat levels didn't all launch on the launch of the raid opening? What if it was like heat level 1 was for the first week, and then after that first week, heat level 2 became an option, and then heat level 3 the week after, instead of everything like launching right at the start? Because to me, that was their intent behind the heat levels, was you were supposed to do heat level 1 first, get a little bit of gear from the raid, get that extra fire resistance from your tier gear, and then progress on to the higher heat levels. So to me, it seemed kind of weird that they were like, hey, if you can do heat level 3, then you're going to get bonus loot the entire phase. Instead of like, hey, everybody's kind of got the same option to get the same amount of loot for the first week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then as kind of maybe like a catch up or like a harder difficulty to go for, then get the higher heat levels like rolled out. So I just wondered what everybody would think about that. So Jordy, like how would you think of an approach with like a layered like heat level or difficulty?
I think that I'm coming from like a more hardcore perspective, but I think that they covered their bases pretty well with the 2-week buffer from phase launch to raid launch that they've also been doing in Cata, Wrath, and stuff. I don't think that they need to have further done that with the heat levels. I kind of like the raid dropping and getting the hardest difficulty, which I still think is too easy, and that being a challenge going into it after 2 weeks of leveling and farming gear. Like I don't think that we need further demarcation between those launches. And I also think that it's important for them to get these raids out quickly and putting more weeks in between the raid launch and the next phase just increases the time that the phase is live. You know what I mean? And I think that this seasonal server should be quick. Like 8 weeks is my sweet spot for these phases. And so I'm hoping, and if they delayed Heat 3, which according to your suggestion would be a delay of 4 weeks from phase launch to Heat 3 launch, that's just not a lot of time to be farming Heat 3. And I would love to not do Molten Core ever again once BWL comes out. You know what I mean? So taking advantage of Molten Core now, and doing it that way is preferable for me.
Do we think that's going to be the case? Do we think BWL loot is going to be such a step up that Molten Core becomes irrelevant, or is it going to stay more like vanilla and it's equally relevant?
Go, what do you think?
I feel like there's going to be some tier sets that are just going to be like not overlooked, but it's going to be hard to replace for a lot of like specs since they have a tier set for everybody now. There's sure to be a lot that are going to carry over at least through BWL. So if those classes, those specs haven't gotten their tier yet, then they're going to be like begging to go back into Molten Core. It's like, guys, I need my 4 set. Come on, like let's go do just like a Baron run or something, like for like a binding run or like whatever it is, and try to get some. Well, yeah. Speaking of binding runs, yeah, people are still going to go back to Molten Core for binding runs at a minimum. So it's like,
will they though? I mean, Thunder Fury's pretty bad nowadays. Like, Scotty, I don't know if you've been tracking where the gear is, but like things have squished so much because of the power level of Sunken Temple gear that the power level of Molten Core gear, especially those items like Onslaught Girdle or BRE or even Thunder Fury, are just so much closer to everything else that I don't think that those are going to be game bis like they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, we were farming Molten Core in AQ because Onslaught Girdle was game bis, and I don't think that's going to happen nowadays. Like, I was looking at my Onslaught Girdle compared to like my tier belt, and it's not that much better. So I kind of have a feeling all of that BWL loot will be just that much better than the Molten Core loot, and we're not going to need to go back to Molten Core. Sure, there might be 1 or 2 items, but it won't be like it was where you're farming Quick Strike rings, you're farming Striker's Marks, you're farming, all those things that we used to. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just, there will be just like it is in Cata, where every tier has a full set of new gear that you're replacing. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's impossible to know, but
I think that's how it needs to be, because I think the general audience of SOD, particularly like the end game audience, I don't think I don't think they would want to be going back to Molten Core every week. The same way, like, imagine when Sunken Temple launched, you wouldn't want to have been going and doing Gnomrigon every week. It's like, we want new content, we want to farm that new content until the next new content, not like Molten Core, like you said, if it was 8 weeks of Molten Core, and then all during Blackwing Lair, say Blackwing Lair was another 8 weeks, you're now going to be doing 16 weeks of Molten Core. By the time AQ comes out, by then, you would definitely say that it's probably irrelevant, but yeah, it's just interesting. At the rate at which I personally see the fatigue setting of the content in Season of Discovery is so much faster than anything I've seen WoW related before. Like, there is no expansion, no version of WoW where I've ever seen that end game content fatigue set in so fast.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. It's like it's already plateaued after Molten Core being out for 3 weeks. So like next week, if you look at Ironforge Pro, if you're one of those people that judges the population off of that, we might see our first dip next week, I feel like, on that. So then everybody's going to be like, oh, Sod's dead. Look at this. The graph is already going down. I still don't feel like it's going to be dead, even if it does start to wean off a little bit according to that graph. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit higher. But Mr. Sully, what do you think about Molten Core, kind of like the heat level wise, if it was staggered a little bit as a more casual player? Like, would that make you feel like you weren't like falling behind as much? Because it's like, oh, I've got heat level 2 coming out next week, and I haven't even gotten to heat level 1 yet. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, no, I don't think there's a reason to gatekeep like content, especially like Jordy mentioned, like the we want to have a good pace here, right? Like I would imagine a lot of people are looking forward to what we haven't seen yet for SOD, which is we have this promise of some maybe a new raid coming up at some point like this fall. So no, I mean, for me personally, I'm lucky I'm in a guild that where I'm not getting gatekeeped really or whatever, but I think that you don't tell players they can't do something. I think that if a player wants to go into the game and work their ass off to get the gear that allows them to do a heat level 3, then let them do that. That way you're kind of satisfying everybody's itch, so to speak. That's where I see it. I think if you do that, if you say you gatekeep that and you have week 4, that's when heat level 3 comes out. You've got people who are kind of bored. I'm sure Jory's like, wow, this is kind of dumb. Why weren't we allowed to do this one? It's content too. It's content to see some of these really good guilds push the envelope and see what they can do. So yeah, no, I think the way they did it was correct.
All right, Scotty, any input on that? Like, well, if would that have made you play the game more or less if the heat levels were kind of staggered, or
no?
With Jordy and Sully.
No, I mean I see what you was trying to say, but no, I think I'd be the same way if they turn around and said Firelands you have to clear normal before you can do heroic. It's like, well, that's another week of doing. Like, I don't want to be doing normal, and there's a big audience that don't want to be doing normal. I know there's a bigger audience that only does normal. We do have to remember that there's a lot more people that raid to that sort of normal, and it takes them a few weeks before they start progressing on heroic, etc. But like, you still can't alienate that portion that just want hard content. People who would rather go in and wipe on Beftalak week 1 of Cata over and over and over again all week, if that's what it takes, before they even thought about clearing normal. Do you know what I mean? So I would be the same with the heat levels. It's like, well, put it out, and if it's really fucking hard, like heat level 3 is solid, and you need to go back and get, you need to do heat level 2 to get some fire res gear, then that's a different story. But if the player base can find a way to not need to do the easier content before going straight to the hard content, then no, I'm kind of all for it. The only time I like to see things gate kept in a way like that is if it makes sense for the longevity of the game. If it's like, well, actually, by prolonging this a few weeks, it allows a certain reputation to be farmed in a more methodical way by the time you get to the end of the phase. Or what? I can't give you a specific example, but there's certain cases where it would make sense. But no, in SOD, for me, it's like, put the content out, and as soon as it's out, fucking start working on the next phase, because people are going to be crying for it before you know.
Fair enough. All right. Next one I got for you guys is should there be a 10-player option for like BWL? We didn't get it for Molten Core. We did get 20 instead of 40, which was a huge W from Blizzard, but I'm doing 10-player raids on Cata. I haven't done a 25. I don't really like 20 still seems like a lot for me. Like the 10-player Nomer and BFD in phase 1 and 2 was a huge hit. That 20-player transition into Sunken Temple seemed to kind of like stonewall a couple people from like getting back into the raid in phase 3. So there's the option of flex too, which Mr. Sully kind of pointed out. Like they could do a flex system, which I would still prefer it to be like 10, 15, 20 or something like that. Like solid numbers, not like, yeah, you can bring 13. Yeah, you can bring 17. Oh, you can bring 19, 20. Like I like the specific numbers. So
well, here's my thing though. I think even with like the heat levels, right? If you look at the HP for the bosses, they just did a percentage. They just upped the percentage of the damage, up the percentage of the hit points of the bosses. That's easily doable by how many people you have. So if you have 20 is the normal, right? If you have 22, what's that? 10%. Just increase the HP and the difficulty by 10%. That's not going to be perfect, but for our guild, we've had to at least set 2 people each week because we can't field 2 20-man teams.
Sitting people, like I've heard people have been struggling to like fill their 20-player guilds, but you're sitting people. Okay, Jordy, like roster issues? Are you guys good for 20 or?
Yeah, we're good. I think dropping to 10, and this is from like a perspective. I mean, I have a more intense rating situation than a lot of people, but I I think that 40 man felt very epic to me. It was like us army of humans and dwarves are attacking this god of fire. You know what I mean? And there's a bunch of us, and we're all doing different shit, and it's like epic as hell. And then now it feels like there's just like a ragtag group of people running in, and it just feels a little bit diminished. And dropping it to 10 feels even more so to me. So I'm kind of against the 10 man idea. While 10 man is fun, these enemies are just so epic already that and it would also make the mechanics a lot simpler. And I think that part of what makes raiding fun is that there are a lot of people doing a lot of different things. And when you are down to 10 man, it kind of makes it difficult for them to design a lot of these mechanics, because there's just like not you can't decurse and heal and move out of shit and do all. I mean, you can do all that stuff because they do it in retail, but it's like it would just the essence of the fights would be diminished, I feel like. And then, but I love the idea of flex raiding. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to take more than 20 people into a raid. I'm totally cool with that. You just don't get extra loot for it, which is something that like you need to decide. Okay, we're going to take extra people, we're going to lock them to this ID, but it will make it easier for us, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. So I think that 10 man should exist, but the instance should be designed for it from the jump, not tuning it down for the 10.
Yeah, 40 to 10 seems pretty extreme.
Yeah, I hope that Karazhan Crypts, whatever that is, if that's actually a thing, was 10 man. That would be cool to have a 10 man instance. Like
ZA
they could even
and AQ.
They could do ZG, and that could be a 10 man. That's okay with me, because it's 20 man down to 10. That's not that much of a break. But like BWL, like just feels like, or AQ, like 10 people in Cthulhu's room doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like, the room's too big. Like, you can't. It's just like the instance just doesn't lend itself to that. So
what do you think about like a 40? Like, if it was tuned for 20, but you could flex up to 40 for heat level 3, like, would that be fine with you?
So the heat level 3 thing, like the benefit is that last boss, which just gives you loot that you could have gotten on any other boss, and the cosmetics. And I think that the cosmetics should be that extra flex to be like, I did the hard thing. So allowing you to bring more players in, quote unquote, the hardest thing feels a little bit like cheating to me, because then you're not really doing the hard thing. You're just bringing extra people. So I'm cool with it being in heat level 1 and 2, but and it's just cosmetics. So it's like, who cares? But at least give them something to try hard over. You know what I mean? Like, protect your tryhards, because they're the ones that carry a huge amount of your game, but also cater to everybody else, because that's the people that are paying the subs. So
yeah, the same as like retail, where you can do flex, but then there's mythic, which is just 20. Yeah,
exactly.
If you add a form of content that can be flex, which would be heat level 1 and 2, cool. But yeah, the hardest content, especially when there's no actual additional player power coming from it, it is just pure look what I've done. Yeah, like you don't want that being diminished. But as for the whole 10 man thing, my personal opinion on it is, like, I love 10 man. Like, I always have. I've always loved 10 man. I mean 20 man mythic for me is like my real sweet spot. Like, I'm actually, if we ever get to Warlords of Draenor, I know Warlords of Draenor gets a lot of shit, but like, I like 20 man raiding, and I'm gonna really enjoy retail 20 man raiding. From a sort of purely selfish perspective, if there was 10 man in Season of Discovery still, even if it weren't Molten Core and it was like, I don't know, Zul'Gurub launched at the same time and it was just 10 man, I'd probably still be playing. Purely because there was only a little group of us that was like the same 10 every week, all the way through. Then it went to 20, and we was like, none of us could be asked to find another guild or anything like that. It was like, we'll just quit. But that is purely a selfish perspective. But actually, from thinking about the wider game, firstly, the design intent needs to be there. When you've got Molten Core, and you've got a raid, an area that was designed for the amount of people it was designed for, going down to 10 would look fucking ridiculous. Secondly, we've already spoke about the speed that Blizzard need to get content out. Would you trust them to actually tune all of these future raids for 2 different raid sizes, giving the same reward based on the difficulty? So 10-man would need to be equally difficult to 20-man. On heat level 3, 10 would need to be equally difficult. The same way, like 10-man Cata raiding versus 25 Cata raiding is actually almost on point. I've done both 25 and 10 heroic, and if you've got 25 decent people in a heroic raid and you've got 10, decent people, the actual difficulty is not that different at all. In fact, 10-man's a bit more punishing at times. Would you trust Blizzard to get content out that quick and have 2 raid difficulties? Like, I would say no.
No.
And it's like, would I trust them? I almost prefer that they spend that development time on something else that is more, like rather than tuning a raid, let's focus on building a new raid or whatever.
Or just make the one raid size better. Yeah, have the one raid size, but it's just better.
They didn't even tune Molten Core great. Like, it's not that well done. They have 3 difficulties, and it's fine. It's just like, I feel like it could be a lot more interesting. But 10-man, like, I really do think they're going to change AQ20 to a 10-man and ZG to a 10-man, because it only makes sense based off of if they're going to be doing 20-mans for these other raids, that the other ones will be 10.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along here. We've got an hour left. We got plenty of time.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're cruising, guys. We're cruising. So this I hope is a little bit more of a fun one. We've been kind of serious here for a minute. Like the tone was very fucking like, this is right. This is it. But what rune would you guys want for your class that you guys didn't get? So Sully, what class have you been playing, and what additional rune would you wish to have? If I know we're not going to get like future runes in phase 5 or nothing like that, according to the interviews, but if you could have a rune for your class, like, what would you get?
So embarrassingly, I misread the question. I thought you were asking what rune did I not achieve that was available. So I don't have a good answer for you. As a casual, I had to choose between, getting attuned for things and getting some gear before I was able to get some of the harder runes for phase 4.
Wait, what class are you playing?
I'm playing a priest.
Oh, we got 2 priests in here. Nice.
I got one for you, Mr. Sully.
Please give me one, because I know that you love priests and you played a lot of priests.
Ultimate Penitence is cool as shit.
Oh, yes, it is.
And I begged them to give Priest Ultimate Penitence at 60, and they said no. And
Can you describe what that is?
So it's kind of like Divine Hymn. I don't know if you played Cata or Wrath, but it's a disc. It's a disc like final talent kind of thing, and you fly up into the air and you spread your arms out and you grow wings and you just penance everybody around you, and so it's just damage and healing around you like crazy, and you're kind of immobile, and it would have been dope, but they decided not to, and I think that was a bad choice, because priest runes are all really boring. I think they're some of the more boring runes for any class, and so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that sounds great. I want that one.
It's really good.
They call it uppies because you fly up in the air, and so they go uppies, and you fly up in the air.
So you would time that with a certain like raid mechanic, probably
some type of big raid damage or something that you would be trying to counter heal. So
I love it. I want it now.
Yeah,
Blizzard,
give us uppies.
exactly.
Priest uppies.
Sounds like a drug.
It's so cool. It was added, I think, in Dragonflight, right, Scotty? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Literally, yeah. It's my first time playing a priest in retail since probably Warlords of Draenor.
Wait, so we have 3 priests in
But it's
here
great.
now?
Well, no. Obviously, my main's a monk, and it always will be.
Okay.
But like one of my mains, I'm going into war with him with 4 characters, and priest is one of them. I'm going melee hunter, disc priest, Brett paladin, and Windwalker monk. But although I'm probably going to go Mistweaver on the monk. But ultimate penitence, right? So I was leveling. I leveled my priest with Chunk, like one of the guys that I play with all the time, through time walking dungeons. And if I had ultimate penitence ready, I was top DPS. Like that, no one could get anywhere near me. It would be like right because it's like 5-6 minute cooldown. Like it's quite a long cooldown, isn't it? But as long as I had it for the boss, I press one button and the boss dies. It was like it's obviously that's hilarious scaling as well in the time walking dungeons. But that's the fun of retail. Nothing like there's so much shit that's wonky that it's actually fun.
All right, Jordy, you also play warrior. Maybe you play a 3rd or 4th class too, but like, what would you
Just
want for
the
your
warrior
Okay.
on side.
How many warriors?
Just the one.
Oh, just the one. The
No,
literal
the 6
one.
priests
Okay.
on Cata, but 1 warrior on sod. I actually have a 45 priest on Cata, or on sod, but I don't play anymore.
You got Meat Hook. That's not even a rune, and I think that's completely
Yeah, Meat Hook's
fucking
really
busted.
cool. They did a great job on that.
Bullshit job. Bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. It changes the way you pull dungeons, and it's awesome PvP. And you really feel sticky as a warrior now. Like especially if you have Warbringer, which lets you charge in combat. You can charge, you can intercept, and then you can meat hook. So like if you really want to be in melee range with somebody, you are in melee range with them.
So you want heroic leap on top of that, right?
Yeah, well, heroic leap would be cool. You know, there's Titan's grip. There's Blade Storm. There's like a lot of stuff, but if I'm honest, like I feel like Warrior is in a pretty good place. I think Meat Hook was like that cool spell that everyone was like, oh, you know, that's rad as hell, and I wouldn't complain about Warrior right now. Like, I think we're eating good. Like it's been fun. The one thing that I want to commend Blizzard on, and I don't know if you guys have paid attention to how Warrior rune acquisition has been at all, but there's one rune called Sudden Death, which is cool as hell. It is a chance to be able to execute an enemy regardless of their HP. And you get big red wings when it's procced, and you're able to execute. So it's like you have this giant bloody wings on your back, and it's cool. You actually don't run it in pure PvP scenario or PvE scenarios most of the time, but that's fine. But the one of the coolest parts is there's that in order to get the rune, you have to find a wandering swordsman in Silithus, which is like a recurring rune quest for all of the phases up till now. Like first he's in Durotar, and then he's in some of the other zones. It doesn't matter, but for every single phase there was a wandering swordsman you had to find. For this one, he's in Silithus. You find him, and then you challenge him to a duel. And it turns out he's the god Khonshu, and he teleports you above Silithus onto this, like the top of this pillar, which is this tiny little arena, and you have to duel this giant Anubisath god to the death. And he like telegraphs all his abilities. He like smashes the right side of the platform, he smashes the left side of the platform. It's all really cool, and it feels very epic, and they did a great job on it. So I'm off track of the question.
Can I just say to everyone right now, to see someone like Jordy get so excited about what he just described, that means that Sod is literally a success, because there's probably 100 of him. Like, yeah, remember this is so good. I'm being serious right now, by the way. Like,
some of Sod is for sure a success. Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all a success, but there's absolutely been some incredible ideas that they've done and built some cool stuff. So yeah.
I mean, I just wish I had that experience as a balanced druid. I mean, I've gone to
you're playing a druid.
Yeah, I've gone to wetlands, and I've taken a mushroom, and I've talked to a toad while I was hallucinating. I've killed a moonkin for my Starfall rune. Like, I haven't had this epic quest where I get teleported to a new place and have to fucking fight some dude on a floating platform. That sounds insane. Like,
I mean, I think the paladin rune in phase 1 was really cool. The problem was you could cheese it, right? So some of the design was really good, but then us as players, we go and cheese stuff and find a way to, avoid the epicness of it. So that's kind of on us sometimes too, I think.
well, Scotty, let me ask you. I know you haven't been playing Sod, but would there maybe have been a rune? I know you were kind of maining mage for a lot of early Sod. So if there was like some mage rune that was just like, oh yeah, I gotta fucking play phase 4 because I'm mage is back. Like,
I still play Paladin like a couple of times a week. Like, when I play in it, I use that term really loosely. I've done 27 levels. I started from 1, obviously. I've done 27 levels in about 2 weeks. So it's getting there. One day it might get to 60. I doubt it because most of the time I log on it and I don't even move. I log on it, I look at it, and I'm like, fuck this. But the rune that I would need, or what I think would actually make my time really good, it's not an ability that exists as such, but I would want a rune that gives me an energy bar, 5 cheese, and I fight unarmed. Right, bear with me, because also this rune would give quite a lot of abilities. I'd get things like jab, blackout kick, rising sun kick, fist of fury, spinning crane kick, chi wave. I mean, there's quite a lot of things that would come with
this is on
it.
your paladin.
This is on my
second.
this is on my paladin. I've
okay.
put a lot of thought into this.
Do shaman get it too? So it's like
No.
balanced. No.
Just paladin. Is it familiar? Is it familiar, Geordie? Have you?
I feel like I've heard of this somewhere. I don't know. Like, do you become black and white also, like all over your body?
That would be great. Yeah,
you grow a big paunch belly.
I get really hairy. Yeah, I get really hairy. No, honestly, there's no point me. There's loads of things when I've looked at classes in SOD where I've gone, wouldn't it be great to have that? And I don't play it. Let's be honest. So it's kind of my view on what classes need is kind of irrelevant.
But if Red Paladin was stronger, because I think they're one of the weaker classes right now, would that entice you to play a little bit more or no?
No. Not really.
Even in Classic, Ret just sucks.
They have the Avengers
didn't do enough
thing, whatever that's called.
Divine Steed.
PvP.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, for me, like, Cataclysm is, like, sort of far enough back that I still enjoy all the classes, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I really enjoy Wrath. I love Wrath. But when you spend as much time on retail as I have been recently, like, everything else when you go on, it just feels so slow and so sluggish. And, like, even Cata, to a point where, like, I'm purposefully trying not to play classes in retail that I enjoy playing in Cata. Like, not, like, going really hard on them anyway, So, like, the priest, yeah, all right, I heal on a priest in the NA 25 runs, like, whatever, that don't really matter. I press, like, 3 buttons. But, so on retail, like, it's fun. And then playing, like, the melee hunter. Well, there's no melee hunter for me to compare it to in Cata. I'm playing a monk. There's no monk in Cata, obviously. Whereas, like, I think if I was to be playing, like, Feral, I've got a 70 druid on retail, and it's fun. But when I leveled the druid and then I went on my druid on Cata, I was like, man, this feels garbage. Because everything just feels slow. And then imagine going on SOD. I think SOD feels really sluggish in comparison.
The whole, like, leveling speed is strange for me because I like leveling fast. And I've seen so much pushback of people saying, like, oh no, they shouldn't have bonus XP, like, you're leveling through the zones too fast. You can't do all the quests. I know, I totally agree. And I'm like, well, you can still do the quest once you've passed, like, the level for it if you really want to. Like, you don't have
for gold.
to
They're giving you more gold for every quest turn in. So yeah, no, they've given incentives for that.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of quests. That's all I have been doing at 60. Like, it's been great to do all the quests. Like, you can do it, and, like, nothing's stopping you from like rushing to 60 if that's what you want to do. You want to complete a zone and you're not getting XP from the quest, then fucking do it. Like you're gonna get gold. Yeah.
The thing I
But,
just
yeah.
want to add, just, like, just for anyone, who's thinking, man, like, he really hates sod. I don't really hate sod. Like, I don't enjoy sod, but I'm glad everyone else does. You know what I mean? As in, I want sod to be an amazing success. I'm not like, oh god, it's taking people away from Cata, or like Cata's dead because of sod, or sod's dead and like Cata's the best. Like, I'm not like that. I don't care. I hope everyone who plays sod absolutely loves it, and I hope there's a second one for you, because I enjoyed phase 1 and 2, phase 1 in particular, like, immensely. But I think it's great. Like, it's great because the people that are playing sod most likely don't like Cata. And probably won't like MOP. So if it's keeping them in the World of Warcraft like ecosystem, then great. Like, I think it's amazing. The same way I love retail, and like Sully, you probably wouldn't get on with retail, But it's great that we both pay the same sub, and we've got all those options of games anyway. You haven't got to enjoy them all.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on to the next one. The favorite new change in phase 4. If it was Molten Core, you got to pick something else. Like, no more Molten Core talk. Like, we got to pick something outside of the main raid here for your favorite change. And I'll start it off. As a bounce druid, we didn't really have hit options early on in like vanilla, and our dungeon set has given us a lot more hit to be able to step into raid and only have that 1% chance to miss, which I fucking hate. But at least we can get to the hit cap, like the soft cap, if you will, like the 10% for us, because we have 6% from our rune and then 10% from gear, so we get to our 16% cap. So I'm glad that they realized that was going to be an issue for us boomies. There could have been a few more additional options, I feel like, from like leather gear specifically. There's a lot of cloth gear that has hit that we kind of have to like dive into and like roll against mages, shadow priests, warlocks for that stuff still. But like a neck from a Strathholm is a hit option, but we got to go against all the other casters for that. But yeah, I'm glad that they added more hit options early on into the game, and we didn't have to go into Molten Core like with a 10% chance to miss. Like, that shit feels really bad. So to me, that was one of the biggest changes that they could have made for me early on. But what, Sully, what are you excited that they added here for us in phase 4?
So mine's pretty simple, but I think it's kind of important. Like, they added, like, the example is Hydraxian, Warlords. You have to get the rep up for specific things, especially getting, I think it's a question unlocked. So when you go into Molten Core, you can, and someone help me if I'm probably going to say this wrong, but you get to unlock the bosses as you go through, right?
You got to douse
the runes.
Douse them, right?
flames,
So
yeah.
there's dailies you can do now that allows you to get that rep a lot faster. And to me, in something like SOD, where it's a faster timeline, I think that also promotes alts too. To me, seeing something like that is a good sign that they're kind of paying attention. That yes, classic is great. I know, I love that. No change, Andy is great. You're out there. I understand that too. But that's a good quality of life thing where, and I'm not sure how much of that is out there. But that's one that I've noticed that I liked a lot.
All right, I'm trying to justify why I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost on the YouTube
That's
chat.
what I was giggling at.
I don't have my light on. Like, the light is off, so I have a lamp on, so it just kind of looks weird because I'm about to turn my light on while
I think your camera is actually maybe adjusting the light as
it could be. Yeah, I need my
camera's too
overhead
good.
light on. So yeah, Jordy, what are you the most excited for that they gave us in phase 4?
The Blackrock eruption stuff I think is cool. They've clearly learned a lot from their stuff up to this point. But I think that the thing that I've really been enjoying is the itemization on all of the gear has just felt a lot more streamlined. And it has its benefits and its drawbacks, where a lot of the gear feels usable now, whereas previously, like, unless it was your BIS, it didn't even look twice. And now it was like, now it's like a lot of the gear is really decent. They changed the 0.5 quest line to allow for you to get the DPS and the tank sets, or the DPS and the healing sets, which I think is really cool, so that you can play those off specs if you want. And they recolored those sets to match the different spec options, which I think is great. And then I think that the itemization of Molten Core has been really good. There's some fun items in there that I wouldn't have expected getting changes. The Molten glows are kind of cool. I don't think they necessarily go far enough in a lot of those cases, but it's cool. The Fire Cat thing for the Sulfurous users is awesome.
Damn it, he took the only thing that I liked. Fuck me. Couldn't you have just stopped with Black Rock Eruption event or something?
I just happened to be watching a couple Scotty videos, and I was reminded by the Fire Cat polearm in Firelands recently. So, but yeah, I think that they did a really good job with the gear, and that is something to be commended, because the gear in vanilla is a mess, and it has its.
Thank you for saying that out loud, by the way.
Well, there are a lot of really great things about it. Like, you get really excited for that one chase item because it's so much better than the other options. But alternatively, like 90% of it's just garbage. So, it's probably in a better place. So that's my phase 4 thing. Good luck, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, they made Jed, for example, in Ubers like 100% like spawn, and that was huge because that's like the best caster trinket for pre-raid for every caster. So I'm so glad that you don't have to do like the Jed run, like the finding runs or whatever, where everybody drops group, goes in there, somebody gets locked out because they went in 5 times and reset, didn't realize it, but they found Jed, but now it's all fucked. But yeah, like Jed is just one small example of like a nice like pre-raid gear change thing that they added in there, and that was pretty sick. Something like a really small change, just 100% chance that Jed's going to be in Ubers. Like, I like it. But yeah, Scotty, any take here?
Yeah. No, mate, honestly. So I don't know.
You got loads, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but that you can have a fire kitty weapon now as a feral.
Oh, fire kitty.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's mentioned it, so I'm just going to style it out.
Get that?
Fuck knows. I don't know. You go to Firelands. No. Honestly, no. The thing that I do like, and this is kind of a positive and a negative, all wrapped up in one, is actually I wasn't going to say the fire kitty weapon. It is the Black Rock event, because for me, for how long the phase took, I would have expected to have seen a lot more new, unique content. So on the basis that was really, from what I've seen, that was really the new unique content outside of fire levels in a Molten Core that people had already done in Season of Mastery. I like to see more of that. Yeah, I know that dungeon.
The DFC or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't comment too much. I've not done it, but it looks all right, I suppose. But no,
I haven't done it.
Yeah, I just looked at it and was like, yeah.
You didn't do it, though?
I have not. I got attuned for it. There was like a short, like 2 quest attunement for it, so I did that, and then I haven't gone in there because I feel like I would have to watch your guide on it again before I stepped foot, so I don't fuck up the like one mechanic that each boss has. Like, I don't want to be that guy that comes in there unprepared and just joins an LFG group that's like doing a real run, and they're trying to just go in there and smash it, get their 4 or 5 reals, whatever it is, and like move on. I don't want to go in there and fuck up and then them like kick me or something.
Scotty, I think you'd be surprised. It's pretty good. The dungeon's pretty good.
Well, it's good that they've done it,
keeping it classic, like, and I don't know.
Yeah, but irrespective of whether it's good or bad, I mean, it's good that they added it. I think that's what people want to see. It's certainly what I want to see, and I've said all along, like, even though I'm not interested in SOD now, if they launch some description of Karazhan, I will be playing that phase that it comes in. No, there's no doubt about it. As in, I will literally level to 60 in a day and be like gearing up, ready to go into Karazhan, because it's one of my all-time favorite raids. Like, I don't think there is anything that comes close for me. But But just new stuff. That's why, like, the Black Rock event, I thought was cool. You know, on paper, whether it's actually worked out like that, I don't know. But on paper, how I was looking at it, I was thinking, yeah, like, that's interesting. That's the shit that people want to see. You know, when you're waiting that long and there was actually a PTR and, you know, it was a big old gap between Sunken Temple and then Phase 4. Yeah, just do more of that. You know, stop spending, in my opinion anyway, stop spending so much time on the minor shit that most people don't care about, and do more new dungeons, more, you know, even if you're recycling dungeons, whatever. And the thing that I always go back to is the zones that are there. You know, the zones that are in Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor are not utilized. So yeah, like, you've got Karazhan, you've got fucking Blackwing Descent. You know, you've got Bastion of Twilight if you had added Twilight Islands. I'm not saying they've got to be like they are in Cata, but there's actual, like, raid settings that are already there. Put some new SOD-related or SOD-only bosses in them, you know, and have it as a daily zone. Yeah, if you open Mount Hyjal and it was literally a daily zone, and leave it the same rep. It's like Guardians of Hyjal, or have it as Avengers of Hyjal, whatever you want to have it as, and then have the raid in there as well. I would have liked to have seen SOD continue on for a while, a bit like you'd expect from Classic Plus. You know, that's what I would want to see. When Nax has finished, you know, actually, okay, we might have a few months of just doing Nax, but we know there's actually going to be something almost brand new that we've never done before, even if it's recycled or reimagined. So anything new excites me about any phase.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up the PTR. So I have been asking, well, as if I have a big voice, about having PTR in SOD, like, since before it even launched. Like, at post BlizzCon, I was like, yo, where's the PTR? When's the PTR coming before launch?
You were saying it on this podcast.
We finally got PTR for Phase 4, and it was kind of limited. You know, we got to do test work, but you had to get a group for it. You couldn't just go in there and, like, solo a boss, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you could go onto the target dummies, but everybody else is doing their thing on the target dummies, putting up debuffs and stuff like that. So, like, the PTR was okay, but we still didn't get to PTR, like, the raid, which everybody's going to have a take on that. Should we be able to PTR, like, the heat levels to make sure that everything's going smooth? And to me, it was like the race to Molten Core World First, number 15, after the last 20 years was a bit scuffed. You know, like, raiders went in there, the trash had, like, or even the bosses too, I think, had, like, resistances to poisons and stuff like that. And you had to go out and reset Molten Core and then come back in. So to me, it was like another scuffed, you know, like, race. And we had that in Cata for tier 11. What was it? Magmaw had, like,
just one-shotting people.
Yeah, and it's just like how are bosses and trash like this in raids and classics still, like, funky? Like, when it goes live, like, to me, like, I love watching the race to World First, but when it's just scuffed after scuffed after scuffed, it's just like a big turnoff for me. So, like, I would even love to have, like, a PTR for BWL, even if it's like a 3-hour PTR or something, like a super short, so you can't go in there and farm it, but at least that there was something, if they added something new to BWL that needs tested. Because if it goes live for Phase 5 and it's scuffed again, I'm just going to be like, fuck, man, like, I guess I'm going to PvP again. Like, I don't know if I want to go into this raid. But, like, how did you guys feel about the PTR for Phase 4? And
can I
Molten Core?
Can I just shock you and say something positive? Which is a first for this podcast so far. From the outside looking in, so again, from someone who's not spending a great deal of time on Season of Discovery, with Phase 4 having the PTR, there certainly seemed like in the first sort of couple of weeks, there was a lot less hot fixes going out. You know, whereas, like, Phase 1, 2, 3, it was like for the first, I don't know, 7 to 10 days of launch, it was like every other fucking hour there was, like, a post with a hotfix that's about to happen. Whereas I don't feel like there's been half as many due to having the PTR. Is that a correct assumption? Incorrect assumption? Like,
I think there was maybe 2 waves that were announced with Blue Post, and then a couple of, like, stealth adjustments that they've made with no blue post attached to them. So yeah, I feel like I could get on board with that. That there's been less like adjustments, but I feel like now that we're at the end game, they are trying to let it breathe a little bit before they like make big tuning adjustments. So it might be a mix of both. Like they're trying to let it air itself out and see how the tier set bonuses, benefit classes before they kind of like do their little knob turning for damage and healing and stuff like that.
There's also like they've said there's not going to be any new runes for phase 5. There will be new gear. So I think they do themselves a major disservice by not doing a PTR. If anything, just do the way that retail does it and test every boss up to the final boss, and then just don't have the final boss. Because then at least most of the raid's in a good spot, and you just have one boss that you need to kind of test internally.
That's a good take.
And so then, I mean, and that's their system already. They just do it on a different game. So it's like, but I've said for a long time that they messed up because all of the raids were in a bad place except for maybe Molten Core going into them. I mean, Sunken Temple was a certified disaster. Nomer, I think, had a ton of balance issues. And then BFD was, if I recall, in an okay place, I guess, but you were only level 25. So they need to find some internal testers or something. There's got to be something that they can set up, and there's only 20 people. Like, you can find 20 people that work at Blizzard that you can send these things. Like, we tested BFD at BlizzCon last year, and it was a mess then. And I don't know, I'm ranting, but test the game, please. You don't have enough developers to do things without a test. You need to give the players the test in order for us to do the work, so that you can do the work better.
Well, going back to what you said about retail, I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe you can't test the last boss, and I think you only get an hour on each boss as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got a time limit, which, even do that, so like guilds can't literally get in there and min-max every aspect of it ready for launch night, but you can go in and get a really good understanding. Absolutely, you will kill the boss, so you understand the mechanics, but you can't kill it, go out, reset, new characters, kill it again, and over again. So I think like having it as a timed thing per account, or like per raid, I don't know, I don't know how they manage that on retail, by the way. I just know that there is a time sort of, it's time sensitive when you're doing the raid testing.
Mr. Sully, what are you feeling about PTRs? Are they a good thing? They a bad thing?
Yeah, I've got a couple points, a question, maybe even two questions. So my first, I'm going to question Jordy here, because as a content creator, my question would be to you, kind of to piggyback on what you said. If you could be a tester, but you couldn't stream it, is that something that you think yourself and other streamers / content creators would do? That's part one.
Should I answer that now, or should I wait till?
Answer.
A cliffhanger there.
Sorry.
So I think, I mean, I'm in a unique place where, like, I've made a living now off of Blizzard PTR, right? So like, I need those PTR hours so I can get footage to make the guides, and I can learn the fights myself and all that stuff. So it's like, I really love public PTRs because of that. Private PTR is a great idea. I would love to be involved in helping them test their game, but I would also, like, if it meant that I couldn't stream it, it would be I don't know. I have to think about it.
Like, what if you could record it, and then as soon as the phase went live, you could post your guide to it?
Ooh.
But I mean, it's not about me. Like who cares? What's best for the game? Like, I'll figure my shit out.
Yeah.
But like,
Okay.
personally,
Well, that's the
what
answer
I
then. That's the
personally
answer
what I need, like, whatever. It doesn't matter.
So I'm currently just to also add a bit of context to this. I'm currently doing something like this. I'm under NDA with it. It's nothing to do with WoW, by the way. I'll just put it out there now. But I'm doing something like it. And if you're doing something like that, when you're logged in on the game, there's normally a watermark, so you can't even record it. You can record it, but I mean, you got to do your absolute best to make sure you hide that watermark in every single bit of footage. But yeah, if you're under NDA doing alpha or something like that, yeah. I mean, what I mean talking about in particular doesn't, because that would be really annoying. But like,
your
I
head
would.
just moves around the screen to cover up the watermark.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I definitely would, like 100%. It's not about stream. Like, well, Geordie's more of a streamer than I am, anyway. He streams all the time. I stream when I can be asked to get out of bed. But it's that wouldn't be about it for me. Like, I'd just like to see it first, get some experience with it first, make it better for everybody else, make it go out bug free, and then you already know, like, you've got weeks of however long you're doing it for, potentially weeks of knowledge to then be able to put into your videos, like Geordie, for you, for example. So before anything even comes out, you've got it all planned out. You know what's going on in the background.
Well, you do the same thing, but you do it from a P server thing, which is like you. I mean, I don't want to suck each other's dicks, but I think that I do a brilliant version of what I'm doing, just even further out. And you're like, the second that somebody's, I wonder what, and you've got a video on it. You know what I mean? And I think that comes from like a brilliant, like, 2-3 months of thinking ahead, and you're playing that next game. You've got Mop, in the hopper ready to go. Whereas I'm just like now starting to think about Firelands. So it's like having that is really valuable, not just for us, but I think for the community. So like, Blizzard should support some of that. I think it makes everybody enjoy the game more when you can quickly get through the content and enjoy it. People like Prague, yes, but they also don't like the first 2 hours of Prague just trying to figure out what the fuck the boss is doing. You know what I mean? Or like the guys who want to do the homework and invest all the money in, the X item that you can purchase, like, the molten crystals or whatever, the Firelands thing that you were talking about, like, it's interesting, and knowing that that's going to be a bottleneck and all that stuff. I don't know. The game should be deep and wide.
No, I agree.
Supporting content creators helps with that.
So let's say a guild like Noda got to do like a private, like, PTR for BWL. Should they then be excluded from like the official race?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. If you're doing a private pre-release test, you should not be allowed, and Blizzard would never do this. They would never allow you to race because they care about competitive integrity, at least somewhat.
I feel like that'd get kind of like weird to, like, behind the scenes, like Warcraft logs would kind of have to be involved, I guess, too, because it'd be like, hey, this guild, if they clear it first, like, you can't post them like rank 1. You know what I mean?
Well,
we've gone down such a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's a very niche, like, specific thing. I don't know.
Sully, you had a second question.
Yeah, well, it's more just as observation, I guess. Number one, I promised this individual that if he showed up in chat, I'd shout him out. So, Pat Thor, I love you, brother. So I think that, Jordan, you said in part of your explanation, right? Like, if it's better for the game, then that's good, and that's how I feel. But Sunken Temple, I know, like, if you're playing Sunken Temple on Phase 3 release, like, it was probably really frustrating. As somebody watching and seeing people not clear it, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, because Sunken Temple wasn't really buggy, right? It was just like the health.
It was hard, right?
Yeah, it was
like
hard.
maybe overtuned.
It should be hard, but it should not be dumb. And I think
Yeah.
Sunken Temple
Like
was
unkillable.
dumb, right?
Yeah.
Like it should be hard, and they do a good job with this generally in retail, where it's like hard and but killable. So you have to really, really, iron out your strategies. Sunken Temple was just there was just too much HP, like it was dumb. So there's a difference, I think.
Yeah.
I
That's
do
all I
think
on that.
people struggling to kill bosses is really fun. Like Race to World First stuff is really, really fun to watch for that reason. But classic Race to World First has just been speed runs every phase. It's just because we've got PTR, we know how to kill these bosses. Progress literally one shot everything in ICC, including Heroic Lich King 0 off rip. Like that is incredible. Only 20 guilds could kill the boss period that week, and they one shot it the first time. Like watching that was bonkers. And that's just PTR, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and people are saying that there's RNG and was it Alakir? They're like, oh man, I died in phase 1 from RNG. Sorry guys. It's like, dude, there's guilds going in there week 1, day 1 shotting everything, like multiple guilds. What do you mean RNG? Like, get out of here.
They don't get RNG though. They're excluded from RNG. Right, we've got about 15 minutes, guys. So
Yeah. I got another one. It's kind of, I guess Jordy would be the best one to answer this one because you're on 2 different tokens for Molten Core and Sod. You've got a priest and you've got a warrior. So how is this token system with all the new changes to everybody having like multiple tier sets? Like there's a Feral Druid set of Boomkin, Resto, like all that. How has the token system felt in Molten Core? Because that's a brand new thing that they introduced.
I think it's good. Especially on Heat 2 or above, like you are swimming in tokens. So we're done. This was week 3 of Molten Core, I believe, and most people have between 4 and 6 pieces in the raid at this point. So it's like you're gonna be tiered out, to the tits very quickly, and then you'll be working on offsets if that's something you're interested in. So I think it's good, and the tier actually being relevant is also a nice change. So because like warrior tier sucked and now it's good, so stuff like that.
How much tier can you get outside of Molten Core? Because Ani drops tier 1 now instead of tier 2. Is that right?
Yeah, just Ani drops tier 1, and then everything else is in Molten Core.
Is it just like a certain token? I don't even know how the token.
I think it's helm, chest, and legs or something. It could drop, but it's just random what actually drops, and it drops like 2 or 3 pieces.
I haven't even gotten attuned to Oni yet. I've been trying to work on that today.
That's a long one.
It's been something like I haven't done it as Horde. I've done it as Alliance. I know Jailbreak runs, but I haven't done it as Horde. So I finally went into like BRD today, and I think I have the quest chain like started.
That's a fun one.
Yeah,
I think
it's been chill. Sully, have you gotten any tier?
I did get one.
Hell yeah!
And then I gave it away.
Why would you give
that
it
was
away?
a short story.
Well,
Yeah.
I was hoping not to have to answer this question at all because of this reason. But yeah, so I got another piece that dropped. I equipped it like mid-raid, and then the tier piece dropped for that same slot. And I'm a team player, so there was another healer in the group. They had bad gear, really bad gear for that slot, and I gave it away.
What a loser!
That was very selfless of you. I'm proud of you, Mr. Sully.
So what did you learn? Don't equip gear.
That's what I learned. Yeah, like I said, first time doing these things. Yeah.
We've all been there. Scotty just equips everything. He's like, yeah, fuck you.
Instantly, instantly. Yeah, that's it. I've got a weak aura that instantly puts anything not bound to me on me.
Scott Mungold? You mean Scott Mungold? Yeah.
That's an interesting one though that you mentioned. About doing the Elixir attunement. What are your thoughts on attunements? Because I must admit, like as much as I'm all for ease of getting in raids, it is. I miss the TBC attunements in particular. Like working your way through the expansion, having to yeah, make sure when you're getting attuned to tier 4 before the raids open. Then during tier 4, you've got all that time to make sure you get attuned to tier 5. Then getting it. I really actually miss that aspect, which I know probably people are going to shit on me for saying, but I actually think it's quite cool.
If it's accelerated content, that's when it puts, I think, Blizzard in a bind. You can't have too much of that because then you can't get through the content unless you're playing a lot.
Yeah,
as a casual, I don't mind it, but I don't want to have it be like my main experience being getting attuned to everything.
They gave the Onyxia attunement like a BOA item for the neck, so you only have to do that once. So that was a good change. But as somebody that hasn't done the Horde version of the attunement yet, like I don't want to download the add-on attune to be able to figure out how to do it. I don't want to go on Wowhead for 15 steps of a quest and keep referencing Wowhead.
Get ready.
Is it different? Is it a lot different than Alliance?
It hasn't yet. I think you just go
It's
to
completely different.
BRD.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm back in
You're
Orgrimmar.
hanging out with Rexar and Desolus, asking general chat where Rexar's at. You're going to a dragon cave in Dust Wallow, and you're going back there like 4 times. You're going all over the world and killing elite dragons, and then what's the last one? You're going to I don't remember. It's all over the place.
Yeah. So like the attunement, as somebody that hasn't played even like WoW before, if they just came in and they're like, how do I fucking get attuned to Ani? Like, who's going to sit there and explain to them? They're going to be like, oh, just get this add-on. And if they're like, well, how do I get an add-on?
If it's really like that long-winded, you meant to know that. Like, we just take it for granted, don't we? That we know where to get the information if we don't know. But yeah,
like I like a BWL style attunement. Like you kill this NPC outside of the fucking raid, you get an item, you go into a dungeon, kill one fucking mob at the end of the dungeon, bada bing, bada boom, you're attuned. Like hell yeah. Like leave the long attunements to something else. Like leave it for TBC, like, or leave it for the dungeon set. Like that's cool. That long chain of quests has been fun for the dungeon set, but for an attunement, I don't know.
That's fair. Anything else, go?
Yep. One more thing to round us off here. Speaking of account-wide things, you have got the Ani attunement that you can have bind on account, but should reputations kind of be the same thing? I think retail has kind of gone into this style of stuff with delves or something. I'm speaking out of my ass
War
right
bands,
now.
yeah.
War bands, there you go. So should that be in SOD too? Because I haven't even gotten exalted with Argent Dawn. I know that's a huge reputation to get for like a fire resist enchant. I think it's 15 fire resist for your helm or something. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But like there's Timber Maul, there's PvP reputations that give some good pre-raid stuff. So should stuff like that be bind on account?
Yes.
I think that they should, or not bind on account, but like account wide. Okay. So we've got Sully's take. Sully, take it away. Like what?
Yes.
Why?
Period.
Yes.
Because I'm not playing any alts. I'm not playing any alts.
Oh. Well, so you're just being generous. You want it for everybody else that doesn't.
No, I'm saying if we had that, I'd play alts.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's no way.
What rep are you like missing on an alt that you would want though? Like, I guess, like, what do you feel like you're missing out rep wise?
All of them.
Everyone I haven't done.
All of them. Well, I mean, it seems like each one has like a specific like advantage to a specific class, right? And it's like if I do it on one, I'm not doing that again. I'm just not. There's just no fucking way. And like, I don't have the time. I don't. And I know that I'm on the other side of the coin, right? I know that, but I think there's more of me today than there was 10 years ago. Of other players who are like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. It's mathematics to me. It's X amount of hours, attention to the game. Yeah. I'm not doing it more than once.
I
love the tank. I would love to have a tank in this expansion. I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna do all that again.
I think that's just a classic problem. Like, I'm not sure.
I don't think the reputations need to be account wide. I think the key rewards like things that you
BOS
can't.
stuff, yeah.
Absolutely. So like the fire res enchant you were talking about, that should just be bind on account. You know, because if that's like what you would feel like you have to physically do it on an alt for, then like we do with fucking, like, it's not reinventing the wheel, is it? Like we've already got it. We're head enchants and shoulder enchants.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God they changed that shoulder enchant for Therazane.
Yeah.
See, I was against that.
Yeah, but you're weird.
I know. I wanted
So nice
people to.
not having to do Therazane every fucking all, dude.
I wanted
Like-
people to quest in Deepholm.
Yeah, and then you have to do a bunch of dungeons until you're exalted after that. So it's like,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like Roth said in chat. It's like, what if you could get to friendly with a reputation, and then you could get a tabard, and then you put that
give me
tabard
something.
on,
Give me
you
a
get
give
the
me a
rep from
halfway point.
dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Cata,
Sure.
like the rat.
Towers could be cool.
Yeah, I'll put some work in, but yeah.
Because I'd wear the fuck out of an Argent Dawn tabard in a dungeon and get some rep in phase 5. Like, hell yeah.
Do you think we're out of time? Do you think they're gonna do alphas and beta dungeons in Sod? Or
gosh.
Cata even, Scotty? Do you think they'll do it?
In Cata, I mean, they should have already done it, shouldn't they? Let's be honest. Like, should have been the
They
phase,
said they would.
last phase.
Do you
Yeah,
think
they
about the development.
they're gonna do something, and it's gonna be shit. Like, yeah, I've got no faith. It's not that I've not got faith in Blizzard. I've got no faith in them to put the time into Cata. They just want to get through it. Like, they want to get through it. They want to get their mop, deluxe editions sold and cash in, and like, why do they? I'll be honest with you, and this is not actually me having a dig. I don't think Cata, if you haven't done the alphas and beta dungeons now, as in the phase that really needs it, they're not needed. Like, there's no point putting them in when Firelands comes out. Certainly no point putting them in when Dragon Soul comes out, because we get new heroics anyway, and the fucking game's over in it. Let's be fair. Once Dragon Soul's out, the expansion's done. So in my opinion, it's kind of like, yes, they should have been in, but they've missed the boat. If they put them in, great. Am I going to do them? I don't know. It depends what they do, I suppose. Challenge mode, in my opinion, that's just what they should do. They should give everybody a reason to go and do these alphas and betas, not just people that need gear. That's my big gripe with all of these systems that they put in, where it's like, oh, great, well, if I start an alt, I need to do it, but on my main that I really enjoy playing, that I've sunk hundreds of hours in and, like, got fully fucking bis from raids, I have no reason to do that content. Give me a reason to do it.
I would do some alphas and betas if it was in Cata. I've been like strictly raid logging. Like, actually, as soon as the raid ends, I'm out of the raid group. I'm back in Orgrimmar. I log out till the next Tuesday. Like, I want to play Cata, I really do, but there's not enough pulling me in there to log on outside of raid right now. But if there was a fun dungeon at like ZAZG is not really like, that didn't pull me back in. I wasn't like stoked for that. I'm like, I've got the old bear mount. Like, I don't care about that. I've got the old tiger and raptor mount. Like, I don't care about those. Like, I want to have a reason to log into Cata, and it's just not there. But I mean, I'm also almost full like tier 11 bis. Like, I have 372 in every slot but 2 pieces, like 379 in my boots from Sinestra. So it's like, even if there was like you're
too good at the game.
Fuck
Just
me,
stop
man.
being so good at the game.
Damn it, loot's too easy in a 10-man, I guess. I don't know.
It is a leather-wearing caster, because there's no composition.
Yeah, we don't have a resto druid, so it all comes to me. The fucking leather boots from Sinestra have dropped for us every week. It's a meme at this point, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, half of our Sinestra loot is just DE'd every week because of, I'll take blame because of me. I don't need it.
Cool.
All right. I think that's gonna wrap us up here. Yeah, Scotty?
Yeah. No, that was actually
I had all the questions.
That was awesome.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
This will be a prediction question, so we'll have to come back to this later. Are we getting a Classic Plus?
Tune in.
And if we do, are you going to play it?
tune in Monday for not. It's not a Classic Plus. Never mind. We're gonna get one, but it's not gonna be until 2026. Mark my words.
I'll be dead, and everyone else will be
Whoa.
too.
You will not.
Whoa!
It
So you're saying no? We're not going
depends
to
what
get
it is. It depends.
Fuck, it won't be called
Classic Plus.
What is
There's
Classic
no
Plus?
way it's called that. Yeah, no one knows what Classic Plus is. Everyone has a different opinion on it. It's not going to be Classic Plus. It'll be Classic with extra Alpha 4. You know, it's going to be some crazy shit, and that's okay.
It's going to be a new game engine and more retail-esque.
Yeah.
No
'cause
way. Zero chance.
there was some speculation that Turtle WoW got shut down because whatever Classic Plus is going to be similar to that. So
I mean, Turtle WoW got shut down because Blizzard has a right to defend their copyright and stop people from pirating their game. I mean, I support Turtle WoW, guys. It's fun to play on servers like that, but Blizzard has every right to do it, regardless of their intent.
Yeah, I just go back to what is Classic Plus. That is just my question. When someone says, "Do you think we're getting Classic Plus?" Well, what is it? Because Classic Plus to me, Classic Plus to all four of us, if we were to write down what we consider Classic Plus, I bet there might be a little bit of crossover, but they'd all be different.
Oh yeah. All right, so I guess we'll be back Monday, Scotty, for
We will.
a not Classic Plus, but a classic discussion with you already leaked it, the homie Willie.
Yeah.
But
Oh, nice.
yeah, so tune in Monday at the normal 6 p.m. Eastern for that show. But Jordy, thanks for joining us. Mr. Sully, thank you also for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. I hope
appreciate
you'll
it.
have me back around Firelands.
Yes, I was
Firelands, yeah.
literally just about to say it'd be great if you come back on after Firelands. Let us know how all your preparation going into it. You know how that all goes and pans out. That'd be awesome. And another sod
luck,
episode,
guys.
Mr. Sully. Obviously, you're welcome back as well. You're welcome back anytime, mate. You can come on any episode you want.
I
Just
appreciate you all.
pop up.
Yeah, just turn
the
up.
green screen behind you, and we'll just put your head just like poking up out of a door somewhere.
But no, honestly, yeah, definitely both you guys come back on soon. But yeah, Firelands, Geordie, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
What's the name of the school for Firelands? Have you come up with it for the boss guys?
We got it down to 2, and I picked one. But the first one, which is really hilarious, was going to be called the Institute of Fire Learning, which is really funny and punny, but a little bit above most everyone's head. So we're going to do the Firelands Field Guide, and it'll be like a brochure that you pick up at a national park, and it's going to be full of shit in it, and then it's going to burn up, and that'll be the intro.
Ah, that's awesome.
Right
I
on.
look forward to seeing that. Yeah, that's gonna be cool, man.
It'll be fun.
That takes weight off of Scott's back. He doesn't have to do the boss guides.
You should do yours, Scotty. Everyone should do guides.
No, fuck that. No, yours are perfect, mate. We don't need any more than that. Just send everyone your way.
I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you again, and everyone who super chatted and been watching, or even
Voodoo,
watching the VOD
yep.
back. Yeah, thank
Big
you,
shout out
Voodoo.
Voodoo for the super chats. Yep.
Nice one. Peace out, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Good night.
My mouse has died. I can't even end the stream.